back to another episode of the Business is Pleasure podcast with myself, John L. Francis, and my beautiful business partner that I get to fondle and touch like this, Colette Monique Liebert. So before we start, Colette's upset at me again, guys. If you guys look back at the previous episodes, you guys will see that Colette was mad at me about various issues, and I guess this time I pissed her off again. Babe, I'm sorry.
You don't even know what you're sorry for.
Sometimes I can be really stubborn and just get in my ways and just like find ways to piss you off and everything, but babe, like, it's never my intention. Sometimes I become like so like self-centered and like egotistical that I forget like, I hurt you, man.
Yeah, because you're a stalker sometimes.
I know, babe, and I'm sorry, and I don't ever mean to do it intentionally. Sometimes I do, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes like I like seeing you like get angry at me. It's like, oh, she's mad. Like I gotta make it up to her, you know? So there's a little twisted part of me where it's like, yo, like, what's going on? Why is Colin making me feel this way?
Yeah, I'm not into the twisted stuff.
You know what I mean? So babe, I'm sorry. I know I was like bothering you today, being like not as considering or understanding as I could be and everything, you know? Especially because like right now you have like so much things you're juggling or whatever. So I could be a bit more like sensitive or whatever, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I like it. I like seeing you a little frustrated, you know? I don't mind it. You know, something for me to work at, make you feel better. It's like a reward system, you know what I mean? Get her angry, make her feel better, and I feel good. I make you angry again.
No,
So.
I'm not an experiment.
But, okay, fair enough, babe. But I am sorry. Do you accept my apology at least? Like, you have to say, like, forgive me.
For camera, yeah.
Okay. I guess behind the scenes, it's a whole different story. So, then we start every single podcast, like every other one, babe. How was your week and how are you doing?
My week is okay. I had a couple events.
Speaking about events, okay.
So, they were okay.
I think okay is like being extremely nice and like modest to like not hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, we won't name names, but the event wasn't the greatest.
Both events weren't the greatest. Because I think if you guys take a look, if they take a look on like our previous podcast, we're always like bigging up ourselves like, yo, like this week was amazing, man. Like we had such a good week. Like, you know, we did this, we did that. We had to get this organized for the event. We went to the wholesalers. And these past two events were really lackluster, you know. The first event really had a lot of people that actually went to it. Was a concert / like an event for vendors. But when in terms of like customers being able to like interact with the vendors was extremely difficult because they had everything under like one roof instead of having it like compartmentalized, so people could, hey, let me experience the vendor side of things, but let me also enjoy the concert as well too, right? With them forcing everything under one roof, it just like really downplayed the whole relevancy of the vendors and everything, you know what I
It
mean?
just made it difficult to sell and interact with people because, like, for one, the music was loud, the lights were low, so like people couldn't really see anything. And then when we were talking to people, they couldn't hear us. So
Yeah, so it was just like I think like the idea was good when they like initially conceptualized it, but when you actually put it down into practice, there was a lot of holes. So it was just like, come on, guys, you guys could have done a bit better and everything.
yeah, but for their first one, it was good.
No, it was like their second one still. But their first time, but their first time doing the vendors with the whole music aspect.
Then it was decent.
Yeah. So it wasn't bad. And then the second one, which one was that exactly?
The second event.
Yeah.
This past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names.
Okay, but like, how was it?
Oh,
You guys are lucky we're being nice, okay? We don't want to be disrespectful, make you guys feel bad.
yeah, because
But
honestly.
shout out to you though. You tried to ting. There's nothing wrong with trying to ting.
Yeah, you did your best, but valiant attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just was really slow. Like usually these types of events, people are like really eager to get at the stuff. So like there's usually a lineup from like an hour before the event starts, and this particular one there was no lineup, and then like it got kind of like 2 hours in, like still like not that many people really circulating through. And then then like some of the vendors started to pack up.
There was one vendor that's really popular within Toronto, and he was there, and it took him about 10 minutes to realize this show wasn't going anywhere, and he got up and left. I wish we would have followed suit, because that was our problem. We were like a bit too optimistic, Like, yeah, like this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. This is
And
gonna
like
be
I
good.
also didn't want to be disrespectful because like even though we are paying to be in their event, so like they're essentially need us more than we need them. I think that I don't know, like out of respect, like I would have liked to at least stay for like a quarter of it. Yes, the turnout was not there, and like nowhere in like the vendor agreement does it say that we have to stay to like a designated time period. But like I was giving hope for like maybe a few people that did turn up later that like they wouldn't be completely disappointed because like half of the people weren't there anymore. You know what I mean? So like I was kind of trying to like play nice, I guess I could say, but. Yeah, I wish I would have left earlier for sure.
No, definitely. And I think in terms of the way like they constructed their customer service, I would have liked them to be a bit more engaging. Where they're like, hey guys, I know it's really slow right now, our apologies, we'll try to figure out what's going on and everything. And it wasn't until the end where they were finally like, oh yeah, by the way, like we'll make it up to you guys, And they made like a decent attempt to do so by like offering really good deals from their booth. But I think overall they have a few kinks to work out, and yes, it was their first event, but for me it was just so surprising because they said over like 400 to 500 people had actually bought tickets, and no word of a lie, I wish I was making this up, maybe 30 people came.
So
Maybe 30 people came. Maybe 30 people came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me it's where like, okay, there's a disconnect here. You're telling me between 400 people signed up for tickets, bought tickets allegedly, okay? And only 30 people came?
Something doesn't add up.
Not at all. So that's for me, that's when I was just like, okay, like, I'm just totally confused or whatever. Either these guys just like either lying through their teeth, or the people that bought tickets are extremely rich, so they don't care and they could waste money like that. So
Or there was like I don't know, like a glitch.
yeah, maybe they think it's this weekend coming up or something. I don't know. But I think overall, what was nice though, I think a couple good things that we got out of the event was that we remained consistent for the most part.
Yeah.
We ensured that for like the 30 people that came around, we gave out 30 business cards, we talked to everyone. And it was nice seeing other vendors that we see at different shows. They're like, these guys again, you know what I mean? And it's nice though, because like doing events like that are really how you build your personal brand with the business, how people put a face to the business. So I think if we would have went in there with like a really negative attitude, like, don't forget this, like, fuck this event, let's leave early right away. That has the potential to make us look like, well, these guys, they're too good for this event. Like, these guys aren't even taking it seriously, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we did take it seriously. We like picked a whole ton of stuff specifically for that event. We were like getting ready because like they did really good promotions online, like their social media
I
stuff.
don't know how good it was though, because it's like what you said. They had it literally for like 1 week, maybe a week
No,
and a
like
half.
what I did see was good, but I don't think the duration was long enough.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, it's summer in Toronto. We only have nice weather for maybe 2 months.
It's so depressing.
Maybe 2 months. So like when I feel like when as soon as like the nice weather hits in Toronto, everyone's like plan every single weekend. Everyone has like
Their whole schedule.
their whole
ready to go.
schedule like laid out. So like if you're trying to promote an event, especially if it's like a little bit outside of Toronto, you need to give people enough time to make that part of their schedule. Like, you can't be like, yeah, the ticket sales were up for a while, but like if people want to go to it or people are like finding out about it for the first time, you need to promote that from like a month and a half out so people can plan like their weekends around it, as opposed to being like something that's just like a spur of the moment and they just decide to go. Like most people, like I don't know that I know, like a lot of things, especially when it's nice out, aren't spur of the moment. It's like, yeah, like it's gonna be nice in 2 weeks or whatever, let's go to this like rooftop patio, or like it's gonna be nice this weekend, let's go to this pool party, whatever. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone kind of has plans within the city. And one point I think you really hit on well was the fact that it was outside the city.
Yeah.
Toronto and the central parts of Toronto have really good transportation, but to get to a place that's literally like 40 minutes outside the city, it's hard, especially for our demographic, where there are young kids between 14 and 25. A lot of them don't have access to cars.
Yeah.
Like, and plus it's on a Sunday, so the transit's going to be really bad as well too, right?
Yeah.
So I think they might have like missed smaller details where it's going to be like, okay, what potential does this limitation of transportation have to affect us and everything, you know what I mean?
But then at the same time, we also did another event that was similar to it, that was outside of the city.
Remember it was on Saturday though.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean?
And it also wasn't the time of the year. It wasn't hot outside. outside.
No, it wasn't hot outside. And also, yeah, it was March break too, right?
Yeah.
It was literally March break for our demographic. So like, see how strategic they were doing that?
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know what I mean? It's March
Yeah.
break. A lot of pushing demographics gonna be out of school, so they're looking for something to do while they're off.
Yeah.
Bam, give them something to do.
That's true.
And I think when it comes to planning, one thing I really want to start focusing on planning more is in terms of like protecting ourselves from liability within our business. Because what we realize as well is that as much as we're like doing the vintage clothing and stuff, and how we're working with like different partners in selling higher quantities of clothing, what's gonna happen if that clothing is lost, stolen, or damaged or whatever, you know? How can we like at least recoup some of those costs and everything? So I think one conversation we need to have is like insurance. Insurance. When we talk about business, sometimes business is not always about making money. One, it's about saving money and of course protecting your interests. And I think a lot of the times like we kind of like hope for the best. And you know, we gotta start being like a bit more like practical.
I think insurance is definitely something that we need to have. I learned that, I guess we almost learned it the hard way.
Okay, which way?
The other weekend when you lost your keys
Oh yeah.
for the rental.
Yo, I'm big Montaigne, don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, I have to let the people know. So he went out, okay? He went out, whatever, with his friends, decided to bring his wallet, understandably, and the rental car keys, which there was no need to bring that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he brought that.
Yes, babe, okay, we get it.
But for whatever reason, he brought that with him.
Yes.
Long story short, he loses his wallet, he loses his house keys, and the rental car keys.
Hold on, don't forget my cell phone.
And his cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
and his vintage Toronto Maple Leafs jacket.
Oh my gosh.
So everything, basically.
I was sad, okay? That was
So
really sad.
he lost everything. So the first thing that happens when he comes home, he's like, yeah, I lost everything. I'm like, what about the rental car keys? Because
Todd's here berating me. Ugh! John, you're so irresponsible. Ugh!
I never
Oh
said.
my gosh,
hold
John.
on. No.
Ugh!
I never said you were irresponsible. I said you're acting irresponsibly because you're not an irresponsible person, but you're taking irresponsible actions at the end of the day. So I'm like Googling what's the cost to replace a rental car key. It's like $500-$600. We just came back from an event, and I'm just thinking like, well, we just made a little bit over that. Then that was just a waste of the event, a waste of our time. You're gonna have to put all that money. Well, we wouldn't have put that money in. You would have been putting your own money into that.
You're gonna help me out though, babe.
No,
It's
I
our
wouldn't
money.
have.
It's our money, babe. You're gonna help me out.
It's our money when it benefits me.
You're gonna help me out, babe.
No.
You're gonna help me out. You're gonna give me like a $1-$2. Don't act like that. You're gonna give me like a $2-$2.
Yeah,
Don't do
some
that.
change.
Okay.
So, anyways, but long story short, the point of this whole conversation, we had insurance. So, because of that, they came to our house, picked up the car.
Scooped it up one time.
Got
I'm
that-
like, yo, don't worry about losing the key. We got you, John. I was
Nothing,
like, okay,
nothing.
Cool.
There's literally like no losses, which was a huge benefit for us because in that case, we would have lost out on like $500-$600 simply based off of your irresponsibility.
And here's the best part. I ended up finding my jacket, finding my wallet, finding my phone, and the car keys. So I didn't end up losing anything, so I wasn't irresponsible. I had just forgotten to pick it up, which is a huge difference.
And you got really lucky because someone could have stolen your stuff.
Yo, and oh my gosh, I don't know how fortunate, I was just so fortunate for that whole day. But yeah, but back to the whole insurance aspect, I think it's gonna be a really good idea. Because there are times where we're like ordering so much pieces of like high-end streetwear, and for it to get lost in the mail and us not to be like properly covered, that can really hurt us. Are you getting sick? Are you still sick? That can like really hurt us in the long run, you know what I mean? So I think it was time for us to like really start thinking towards the future and how we can like, really protect ourselves for the long term and not have to like at least be as worried anymore, you know? Because hypothetically, let's say we're doing an order for like $10,000 for like some clothing, and then we're supposed to order it for someone and it gets lost. Like, you know, then that's $10,000 we have to like make up out of our own money, you know?
Yeah.
And for us, it's gonna be like somewhat troublesome. It's like crap, like
Yeah.
what's going on here?
And also, it's like bad for our reputation. Like, say if they're like depending on us, they put their trust in us, and we're like, oh, sorry, got lost in the mail, and we can't give you back your money.
Like what?
What? They'd be like, okay, we're calling the cops. Like
what? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think insurance is something that every single business, depending on of course how much money you make, if you're only making like $3,000-4,000 a year. I don't think it's something that you should worry about as much because those losses, hopefully, you'll be able to like recoup them.
Yeah.
But I think like where our business is going right now, it kind of does make sense for us to like at least take a look into it and see how we can like properly protect ourselves. You know.
We're just spreading the risk, and we're figuring out ways that, like you said, we can be the most protected. Along that line, one thing that I really want to focus on, I want us to focus on in the next little bit, is finding like other sources for our clothing. Because sometimes like I get kind of nervous when I'm like going places and I'm picking and I'm like, oh crap, like I didn't really find that much today. What if I don't find that much next week? What if I don't find that much the week after? Like,
yeah, it's a probability, right?
Yeah, like it's possible. So like I think we really need to focus on finding other warehouses to pick from, just in case like the supply at one warehouse tends to go down or whatever, or there's like other pickers that are going there. I think that we need to just find more and also diversify. So I think like I remember when we first started our business, we were doing all of our picking from like thrift stores, Value Village, those types of things, which obviously like the markup is higher.
Yeah.
But I think like we are like missing out on certain pieces sometimes by not picking at those places. Like yeah, we may be paying a little bit more, but in the long run we're gonna sell it for.
We're still gonna make a profit.
We're still gonna make a profit. You know what I mean? So.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense too, and especially with one of the warehouses that we have been working with, we kind of like foreseen them getting into like some type of financial hardship once the minimum wages changes came over in Ontario. I guess to kind of see that firsthand made us realize like, hey, like we really do need to find more places and give ourselves more opportunities to get good quality clothing for our clientele, or essentially like we're gonna be dependent upon this place, and if they fall, essentially our business will fall as well too, right?
Which like is like the worst position to be in.
It's horrible. It's horrible, right? And I think that's why you and I wanted to start a business in the first place, so we didn't have to be dependent upon anyone.
Yeah.
And like by us not finding more warehouses, we're essentially being like, we're putting it in someone else's hands.
But yeah, we're putting the fate up to them, and like it depends on if they're gonna stay in business or not. What if one day we go there? Even honestly, the other day I didn't tell you, but like, I went to go pick, and for whatever reason, you know,
One up here?
Yeah, you know the side door?
Yeah.
It was closed. So I went around to the back. I was like climbing up the ladders, like trying to like peek in through the windows to see if people were in there. Then I ended, cause like I was like, they're probably not gonna answer, because you know a lot of times they don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
So I called, and the lady actually happened to answer, and she's like, hi, and I'm like, hi, like my name is Colette, like I usually pick here. And she's like, oh yeah, we're here. And I'm like, okay, like the side door's closed, can someone just open it for me? And she's like, yeah, no problem. But like for like a split second,
No.
I was like,
This is it.
yeah, like I was like, oh my gosh, like, and not even that, but I was like, I needed to pay for that day, like I needed to. So I was like, crap, like what am I gonna do? And like I don't want to have that feeling, you know, like I want to be able to be like, oh, if they're closed, okay, cool, I'll drive down here to go to this one. Oh, if that supply's low, okay, I'll go down.
Spread the risk.
Yeah, like just like more options, you know what I mean?
And I know even though we like do a lot of like the high-end streetwear stuff, like the Babes, the Supremes, and the Off-White, I think one thing we should also be focusing on as well is the lower grade, high-end stuff as well too, right? And again, that goes to spreading the risk. And I think with the clientele that we have with the vintage, it's really good because we have a demographic that will spend maybe between like $10 to $50 on an item, from anywhere from jackets to T-shirts to like tearaway pants. But then we have a clientele that will spend up to like $500 on a sweater. But then we don't have that medium clientele as well too, right? So I think us like going into like different brands that are fit in between that medium range, that will allow us to like enter into a new market, and also just allow us to get more eyes on ourselves as well too, right?
Yeah,
It goes back to what you're saying, spreading the risk, spreading the risk.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like we've kind of sort of branched out into that a little bit, because like before we used to be more strictly like just vintage and like specifically vintage, and then we kind of branched out into like the high-end streetwear. And I also think we're kind of dabbling into like the used, you know what I mean? So it doesn't just like used clothing.
Oh yeah.
So like it doesn't
yeah,
necessarily
sure.
have to be like a vintage, but if I have like a brand new like Adidas sweater that's used, like I'm gonna sell it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Whereas like before we'd be like, oh, it's not
It's too
vintage.
new. It's too new.
It's too new. Put it back. You know. Whereas now it's like it sells, and it's still like in line with like the quality of clothing that we're trying to provide. So why not sell it? You know?
Yeah, and I think that's what's good about this whole clothing aspect as well too. When we initially started, we didn't really understand, because my idea of vintage before was something that was used,
Yeah.
and that was the wrong concept. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Vintage is literally a period of time.
Yeah.
You know, and so now that we kind of come back full circle, where we do the vintage of stuff that's really good quality, a bit older, and also has like historical significance to various people. And then we do the used stuff too, right? Stuff that people just don't want anymore. It's really good. It's really good condition, but it doesn't fit in the niche of vintage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice how we dabble in like so many different areas as well too. It allows us to spread our risk. We're using that word today. Have a further reach with our clientele, and most importantly, have more options to pick from. And that's what's really, really important about everything too, right?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, vintage is only gonna last for so long. Like everything only lasts for so long. I think we talked about this earlier, but like everything only lasts for so long. So like I feel like it's really important for us to be like mindful of like what's the next big thing. Because like I never want to be one of those companies that like archetypes ourselves into like doing one thing, and even though we know that one thing's not working, we refuse to like branch out. And it's like at the end of the day, like we're not like a vintage company. We're not anything specific company. We're not like a hype beast company or like a resale. We're in the business of selling anything that you want, preferably fabrics, but you know, anything that you want, we can provide it for you.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what's good too. Like we're more so trying to be brokers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see one group of people over here. We see another people over here, and we're the middleman that's gonna get from A to B.
And like we're not super emotional about our product. Like I'll see people like selling like something vintage and looks like, yeah, this is from 1954. I remember when my dad was born, and like, you know, he used to go to the baseball games with my grandfather, and they used to get like Snyder's hot dogs and like sit in the sunny spot of the stadium. Like no one cares. Like at the end of the day, nobody cares about your personal connection to this item. They like it because they like it for whatever reason, and they want to buy it. That's it.
Or the client may have a personal connection to it, but us personally, we're gonna try to keep away from the whole idea of having that personal connection.
No, like I see stuff all the time. There's so many stuff that we pick, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice. If I kept everything, we'd be complete hoarders with no money. Like at the end of the day,
but we'd have a lot of cool clothing though. We'd have a lot of cool clothing though. Like we'd have the best. The closets,
and,
all the
and that's it.
Yeah, and like that can only get you so far. You know what I mean? We'd have to like start like a style blog. I'm sure we'd figure out a way to turn that into a business as well too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one last thing before we get going. What are some things you think that we've done a good job of stop doing, and some good things that you think maybe we should cut this part out, cut away the fat, so we can be more efficient, or it just doesn't make any sense?
I think like we've gotten really good at like narrowing down which apps work for us and which don't. So like we still have the same number of apps that we did in the beginning, I would say, but we've just kind of like swapped it in and out for other ones that like haven't been working as well, which I think was really useful. Like we had some apps that were giving us a really hard time, that were always like siding on the side of the buyer, no matter no matter what the circumstances were, it was always the seller or the buyer is always right. The buyer's always right no matter what. And it's like at the end of the day, like we were losing money at the fault of like somebody just like scamming us half the time, being like, oh, like I never received my package, when it's like we know you received your package.
Yeah, thief.
You know what I mean? So like we had to cut that one off. We cut off some like smaller apps that were more local, that like just didn't have the numbers for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like we're like moms trying to find like really cheap stuff for like $1 for their kids.
And I think another good thing that we've been able to do as well is like cut off some events that we know that hey, like this is not our demographic, let's stay away from it. The simple fact that you said moms and everything.
Oh gosh.
When we used to focus more so like on the these moms are gonna go to these events for their young kids.
Yeah.
So we gotta be there as well.
Yeah. Why are you doing that voice?
It's my mom's voice.
Oh.
Don't do that.
I
Don't
don't know
don't
what
do
that
that.
was.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. You know that was a good impression.
I don't know what that was.
Don't do that.
But yeah, when we first started our business, we thought that moms were our demographic, or like not even moms, but like like young adults and like young professionals.
Yeah, yuppies.
Yeah, that's not the case at all. So, anyways, we learned that out the hard way by going to a few pretty bad events,
Yeah.
and then we figured out that this isn't working for us, and we changed it up.
It's kind of crazy though, because like when you look at it though, those pretty bad events, there were maybe like 5. It took us about 5 events to finally realize like.
No, it wasn't that many.
Right?
It wasn't that
I think we
many.
had like 3 or 4.
It was 3.
Yeah, we had like 3 really, really bad events. Like, okay, the mom thing is not working. The artisan thing is not working.
Yeah, like anything mixing like arts and crafts and like, like art made goods. That's not even a sentence, but you know what I mean. Like anything that like people are making does not go with clothing
No.
for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it works for other people, but like it didn't work for us. So all those like craft markets and like those types of things, no.
And I think that's what the best thing about business too, and what we've been able to become successful with is trial and error. If you're not at least trying and figuring out what's going to be working for you, there's no point. And that's why if we bring it back to the beginning of the podcast was that I know those shows are really bad, but I still give those guys a huge shout out for at least making that attempt to like put themselves out there, you know? It didn't work out this time.
But like
maybe next time
you tried, you know what I mean? Like even though the event didn't really work out, they tried. They put themselves out there. They made an event page. They made an Instagram. They made a Facebook. They were promoting it.
Maybe should have done a little more.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, you learn.
tried.
They learn. So at least they know if they want to do another event, they can't promote for a week. They need to promote for a month or 2 months, or they can't have it wherever they had it. They need to have it at a different location. So it's like even though it wasn't the best event, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that I think like stops people from doing a lot, even myself, is like you're afraid of failure. Like at the end of the day, failure is not the end of the world. If you fail and you get back up and you fail and you wake up the next morning, at least you woke up the next day. Like at least you have another day to try it again. Like
And failure's not your enemy. I think a lot of times
No,
people
it's
look at it as
not.
failure as if it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. It's like, no, you are good enough this time.
yeah.
But next time maybe you'll even be better.
Mhm.
Next time you'll be
It's
better.
a learning experience.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's it for
That's
now.
it.
Nothing else you want to add?
You wanna add anything else?
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I know we probably bore you all the time, but if you do come back and watch multiple videos, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We probably waste a lot of your time, but if anything here is helpful,
Not a waste of time.
we hope that you do enjoy it. So please like and share so we know that you care. Until next time, peace.